page, please? This one. We did not finish this, I don't believe, Ariel. The last thing we had to do before the bell was about to ring is to add all these numbers. So, using a calculator or by hand, can you add 12, 12, 45, 45, and 54, please? 168. Yep. So what is our total surface area of example number 1?
168
Good. All right, so that was number 1. The last thing we were doing for the bell ring was to add all the numbers. All right. Now, we have this triangular prism. It's a right triangular prism because it has a 90-degree angle. Let's focus your attention just on the triangle. Everybody, please focus on example number 2, just the triangle itself, nothing else. Are any of the sides equal in your triangle? No. So when none of the sides are equal, it's called scalene. But that will tell you that none of your rectangles will be equal. So the left, right, and bottom, they will not be equal. Okay? They will not because you have a scalene triangle. All right. In my triangle, look at my triangle here. What is the base of my triangle? 3. This is my base. What would be my height of my triangle? Gosh, I wonder if she wrote B and H for me to write down. I think she did. I should before she, has a really, really bad day. Okay. Area of the front triangle is base times height divided by 2. We did that in the do now. What's the base of my triangle? 3. Times, what's the height of my triangle?
4.
Divided by 2. Tell me what that equals.
6. That's crazy.
Okay, what do we get? 6. So if the front triangle is 6, what is the back triangle? 6. Oh, I forgot the units. What are my units? The total is wrong. 6 inches squared, 6 inches squared. Okay, now, I started doing this with my second, hoping that it would make more sense. Now, the left side is the side that you see right here. So, of the rectangle on the left side, this rectangle right here, that I'm highlighting right now with my pen. You see the rectangle? What 2 numbers make up this rectangle? 7 and 5. This is 7, and this is 5. So, what is the area equal to? Okay? And this is where I start losing some of my students, because they are having a hard time seeing the right side. The right side is back here. It's on the back. It's like the back of the screen. You don't see it. It exists, right? But you don't see it. So what I'm asking you is to do something very difficult, honestly, for this age, is to take this and rotate it so you see the back. So if I were to take my screen and rotate it to see, okay, what are the measurements of the back side? They're not the same as this side.
Is that why you gave us that 3D model of that?
Yes, right? But a lot of times you guys are just focusing on like, I can't build it, and it's like, oh, but you can't. Okay, so then what I did for second period is I kind of drew it in, right? Straight down, straight back. And I'm like, okay, this is the back side right here. The right side. Okay, that pink one, the highlighter. What are the measurements of the pink rectangle? Yeah, so this line is just like this line, 7. And then this line is what? 4. What's 7 times 4?
8 inches.
But a lot of times kids don't see the 4. They'll call it a 5. They'll make it seem like this 5 is this line in the back. And it's like, okay. Now, the bottom rectangle. This part right here. What are my 2 numbers for the bottom part? Equals? Okay, do any of these rectangles match? No. The answers don't match, which means you're on a good track. If none of these numbers match, then those numbers don't match. Just the triangles match. All right, what's our last step for surface area? Add, 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 add. So did you get those numbers, Michael? Okay, so it's the last part. What'd you get now?
I'm wrong.
Oh, 6.
Okay, what do we get?
96 inches squared.
Okay. Okay, cool. We're okay? Okay. We're going to do, now we're going to switch into our notebook and packet and notebook. There's no way we can show the work in our here. So we do it in our notebook. And then you're going to take a picture of your notebook. All right. So just like we did on Tuesday, we're going to show our work here. And then when I collect this is what I want to see, right? This I actually don't even need to see. All right, let's label it number 1. Let's start off with your triangles. There's 2 triangles. There's 2 triangles. There's 2 triangles. There's 2 triangles. What is the base of the triangle? Yeah. So look at your packet. We're on this page of your packet. We're looking at this triangle right here. What is the base of the triangle? 12. So I'm going to write that down. What is the height of my triangle? 8. So I'm going to draw it in. I'm going to like break up each shape and write down the numbers that I need in hopes that it's a little bit easier for you guys to understand where I'm getting these numbers and why my answer is that. Okay, so I'm going to do base times height divided by 2. 12 times 8 divided by 2, just like the do now. That's why it was on the do now. Use a calculator. What do we get? 12 times 8 divided by 2 is 48. What are my units?
Inches squared.
Inches squared, because it's area. Are the triangles the same?
No.
Yeah, so the triangles are the same. I have another 48 inches squared. That should be the easiest part, the triangle. Okay, now let's do the rectangle on the right. Richard, seriously? I'm trying to record, and if I can hear you, what you said, I'm sure the microphone can hear you too. Here's my rectangle. Here's my right rectangle.
1410.
Yeah. So let me highlight it. This one's the easiest one. Always start with the rectangle that you see. What are my 2 numbers? Okay, so I'm going to write that down. 10 and 14. Whoops. That's that rectangle right there. What's 10 times 14?
148.
Okay. Now, my rectangle on the left.
The same thing.
Why is it the same thing?
Because there's about 10 inches and the bottom is 14 inches.
Yeah. So this left side's over here. You don't see it. If we sketch it out,
It's the same thing.
it's this part over here. I didn't draw very good over here. It's the same thing. It's the same thing because these two numbers repeat. So you see how there's both 10? So they're going to repeat. So the left side is also 10 and 14. Does it always happen? No. It doesn't always repeat. But this is an isosceles triangle, so it will repeat. So we're writing this down and we're working faster than Miss O'Malley. I will be extremely proud of you if you actually have your answer already done and you're just waiting for me. That would be amazing. What's 10 times 14? 140. Okay, what's the last side we got to talk about? The bottom. All right, so look at your triangular prism. What are my two numbers for the bottom?
12 and 14.
Yay. 12 and 14. That's this part right here. This part right there on the bottom. Okay, 10 and 14. What's 12 and 14. 12 and 14 is what? 168. Do we agree with that? All right, so now we get to add all this with our calculator for our total surface area. Don't forget about the 48s. And what is the total surface area?
48 inches square.
No.
I got 496.
No. What?
544.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot a number.
Did you add 48 and 48?
Oh.
I mean the two triangles? 48, 48, 140, 140, 196. 544 inches squared. It's feet? All right. I don't know. For some of you, it might be easier to break it down, right? And notice, like, am I using the same numbers? Am I supposed to use the same numbers? Not. Okay, number 2. What are the triangles? What is the rectangle on the right? What's the rectangle on the left? And what is the rectangle on the bottom? What are my numbers? Break it up. What are my numbers that I need to use for the triangles, the right side, left side, and back? That's the first part. That's the hardest part, picking out the numbers correctly. You are correct. This is 5, and then the height is 12. So you're going to use those. 5 times 12 divided by 2, and the same thing goes down here. Okay, the right rectangle. That's the one you see. That one's the easiest one. What are my two numbers for the right rectangle? Not triangle. Keep saying triangle. Right rectangle. What are my two numbers for the right?
13 times 19.
Yes, very good. 13 times 19. 13 times 19. So write that down. The two numbers that you need for the right rectangle is 13 and 19. 13.
Oh, this
Isn't that correct? Okay, so for the right, for this part right here, that's the right. What are my two numbers?
13 and 19.
13 and 19. So use that. 13 and 19. Okay, the left side. That's the one you don't see on the back. What are my two numbers for the left side that you don't see on the back?
12 and 13.
What are my two numbers for the left side that you don't see?
12 and 13.
I said that.
I didn't hear you. 12 and 19. That's the hardest one to see. None of your rectangles are going to match. And you're basically going to use all the numbers in the triangle with the 19. The 19 is the one that repeats all the time.
Did you add both?
No. Did you add? So did you use, Kelby, 1913 and 1912? And then what's the last combo that you
19 and
used?
5.
What's the last one? Oh, you did the bottom. Right here.
The base is 19 and 5.
19 and 5, 19. The bottom, not base. Bottom. Okay, what are my two numbers for the bottom?
19 and 5. Oh, wait.
The bottom is 19 and 5. If you were able to do that before I was, good job. That's the hardest part, is picking out the numbers. Now it's easy. Feel free to use a calculator if you need it. Yeah, those two numbers are right. What's the middle number?
Mr. Larry, do I decide that on everywhere?
Just triangles. Ashley, did you do all this and more? I'm not done. You need to finish up.